Welcome to Football Miami TV. This is Uncle Ed, and Pieter Brown's not here. Something happened to Pieter Brown. I think his family thing or something. He might join us later, guys. So don't worry. You're gonna get a little bit of Pieter Brown, hopefully, by the end of the show. If not, you're just gonna have to put up with me. There's tons of information, tons of stuff that we need to cover today. We missed the Mls Final because we went to the Southern Legion 15th anniversary party, which is at the Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Miami. That was a really cool event. We had to go. Pieter Brown and I are two of the three founders of the group. There's so many people that helped us out throughout the years. 15 years is a long time, guys. That's why we're called the OGs of soccer in South Florida. Plus, we've done this blog talk radio we did before we started doing the YouTube. We've been involved with soccer in South Florida for a very long time. And there is a cool video out if you guys want to check it out. It's a short video of, how the whole Southern Legion thing came about, how we helped bring soccer to South Florida. It was a long process. It took a long time to happen, but it finally happened. So now we have Inter Miami. So we're very happy about that. But do go to the Southern Legion YouTube page. They've got I think it's, 10, 12 minute video. It really doesn't do justice to everything that we went through. Unfortunately, we don't get to mention every single person that helped us on the way. To finally getting into Miami. There's a lot of people that we should have mentioned. We didn't because, along the way, a lot of people, dropped off of the group and then more people joined and, so on and so forth. But, lots of people that need to be mentioned. We didn't get a chance to do it. Hopefully we'll do a longer video and interview some of those people down the road. Because there's a lot of people that contributed to helping bring soccer to South Florida. But let's go, the show needs to go on. As I mentioned, Peter's not around because he's doing some family thing. So I'm going to try to go through everything as much as best I can. As you guys know, Pieter Brown is usually the guy behind the cameras, doing all the cameras and all the good stuff. I'm doing it today for, so bear with me. I'm going to check out the comments and everything on the chat room, and you guys help me out through this little transition that I'm going to go through right now, trying to cover everything that we missed last week and all the new signings and rumors and stuff that are going to happen and have been happening before this year ends. And this is going to be the last show of this year. Hopefully we'll come back and continue to give you guys great interviews and talk about soccer. As fans, as we are fans, we're not media. We just happen to know a lot of people in the soccer community, in Major League Soccer and all that. So bear with us. But before, as people start joining, I didn't put the link of this video in the beginning of the as an announcement on social media or anything, because I don't know how to do it. Pieter Brown's the one that does it all the time, so he's probably shaking his head and saying oh, Ed, you just don't know how to do these things. No, I don't know how to do these things, so that's why I depend on Pieter Brown big time. So I'm gonna let a little bit of time go by so some people can join us. I already see that there's some people on the live chat. That's going to be cool. Oh, somebody's talking about a new wise man. He's talking about he's watching Spider-Man. Oh, dude, I saw it. It's really good. One of the better things. We'll get to that in a little bit. But first, guys, before we do anything, we need to thank Caneswear. Caneswear is where we get all of our goodies. And Caneswear is in Davie, Florida at 2511 South University Drive. And like I mentioned, Davie, Florida. And if you guys can't go, please visit their website, caneswear.com. Please buy all your Christmas presents there. There's still some time. They could still ship them for you. I try, it's a little far from me. I live now close to the zoo in Miami, so I'm pretty well south. But I am going to get up there to Caneswear because I need to put all the the logos and stuff on the front of the jersey for the sponsor. I haven't done that yet, and I've got like 4 or 5 jerseys that need that to be done. But go to Caneswear, guys. The best deals, the best variety, everything that you want to, for Inter Miami or for the Canes or any sports team in South Florida. Be sure to get it there. So, guys, don't forget, please go to Caneswear. And now I'm going to say hello to some of the people that are on the chat. There aren't that many. As I mentioned, I didn't put the link on there early enough. But we've got a couple people already in. Kevin Gonzalez. How you doing, Kevin Gonzalez? Nice to see you. A new Wiseman, as I mentioned before, he's watching Spider-Man, so he won't be able to chat. How are you going to watch Spider-Man and listen to my dumbass talk, man? I have no idea. I'd rather watch Spider-Man if I were you, but, whatever. To each their own. You could watch this later. One World, One Goal. Thank you so much for always supporting us. She's the best. And I don't see anybody else just yet. As I mentioned right when I got on, we weren't able to have the show last week because we were at the 15th anniversary of the Southern Legion. Pieter Brown and I are 2 of the 3 founders of the group. So we weren't able to make it to do the show because we were getting our drink on, guys. 15 years is a long time. So as I mentioned, please go to the Southern Legion YouTube page, and you can see a quick video of a little bit of the history of the Southern Legion and how it all how we helped bring Major League Soccer to South Florida. And guys, anyways, so before I start talking about anything else, I want to say thanks to a lot of people out there who helped us throughout the years to try to bring Major League Soccer to South Florida. I'm actually thinking about maybe making another longer video. The video that you guys are probably gonna watch on the Southern Legion thing is made by Mendo. He's one of the people from the Southern Legion. It's a really good video. It's not that long. I wanted to make a longer one. I actually started it, but interviewing people. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to Marcelo Claure and Jorge Mas and all those people about how we came about, and hopefully maybe even David Beckham, because they've seen us throughout the years. But guys, so much to talk about Inter Miami right now, and let's start off with before we get to that, the MLS Final. We were able to check it out. I was able to see it. Pieter Brown said he wasn't too interested in seeing it because Pieter Brown's Pieter Brown, and he does whatever he wants. But I was able to watch that game, and I thought it was pretty good. We're gonna check out right now the score real quick, and it was a cool game, 1-1, very exciting. From one side to the other, New York City, they beat Inter Miami. And they went all the way. It was basically 2 fourth place teams, in the final. Did they deserve to be there? Well, they made it. The playoff system is like a whole brand new championship. It's kind of like a World Cup type thing, except it's a knockout stage throughout the whole thing. So. It went to penalties, and I'm not a fan of penalties, but I do believe that in a way New York City deserved to win. They they won all these games when they were as a visiting team, and they won the final in Portland, which has to be one of the most difficult places to win. So all power to them. For doing it, for being able to make it happen, because man, it's a tough thing to get through all that stuff, man. That just to beat teams that aren't. Hold on a second, and as you can tell, I'm having a little bit of difficulty here because I'm not used to doing all this stuff. So give me a second here so I can get the camera back. Yeah, Uncle Ed. and there's tons of stuff that I need to talk about right now. So we're gonna get to it in a second. Bear with me, and here we go. So you can get to see my ugly mug again. There we go. So guys, and the reason, we didn't get to see and talk to you guys was because again we were at the 15-year anniversary of the Southern Legion, so it was hard for us to get on and get our drink on and be at the party and come live to you guys and talk about the MLS final. Peter got a little controversy because he wrote something about him not being too interested in watching the finals. So some people were like, "Oh, come on, Peter! It's the final Major League Soccer. You're downplaying it." I kind of agree with Peter because my team wasn't in the final. I want my team to be in the final all the time, but we didn't make it, so I wasn't as interested. But throughout the years we've been watching Major League Soccer finals, and I had to do it because I wanted to talk about it today. If you guys have any ideas or thoughts about the game, go ahead and put it on. You can put it in the chat room, and I'll put it up with you guys. To lose at home on penalty, one of the things that One World One Goal is saying, to lose at home on PKs, that kind of sucks. It does. So it hurts to see those things happen. Oops, and I put up the wrong person. I need to put up One World One Goal, and this is why I need Pieter Brown. There we go. To lose at home on penalty kicks has got to be the worst thing ever. And I'm going to fix that a little bit because I don't have it as nice as Pieter Brown does. Steven Dito, how you doing, man? Thanks for always watching this. I'm all by myself. I called up a couple people. Uncle Ned said he couldn't do it. Uncle Ted said he couldn't do it. Uncle Ed's here. Pieter Brown can't do it. Peter, he didn't go to Disney. No, he didn't go, but he had some family stuff to do. But and Peter is not in Disney, believe it or not. He's not checking out the Rat. So it's a good thing that he's not, because I think a lot of you guys would have criticized him. But that MLS final was it was I think it was a good game. Once again, the penalty shot thing is tough for any team, to go through. My thoughts is for them to go to the final and go on overtime, and whoever scores the goal wins. But then the only problem there is, like, if you're on live TV, they could go on forever, and it could be 3 hours and nobody scores. So that's the only risk of doing it that way. But I'd be happy to see something like that. I think that would be exciting. And then these guys will be like basically walking because they're so tired, and somebody's gonna somebody's legs aren't gonna give aren't gonna be able to run anymore. They're gonna get cramps, and little by little people are gonna be falling out, and they're gonna be passing out, and eventually maybe it'll be just the goalies, and one of them will score, and it'll be anarchy. And I just think it'll be great. I think that's probably the way to go. Penalties, I'm not too fond of, but it is what it is. I would have wanted the Timbers, and I had predicted that the Timbers were going to win because I just didn't think anybody would be able to beat them in Portland. It's just they have some of the best fans, and it just didn't seem like anybody would be able to beat them, but it happened, and New York City FC, all power to them. They got the win, and that's where we're at right now. I'm pretty excited because now Inter Miami finally has the schedule out, and we do know that. We're gonna go to the schedule real quick. And let me bring up that screen in a bit here. I'm a little slower than Pieter Brown at this because he's the expert. And there we go. You guys aren't seeing anything, but I'll see it in a second. There we go. So we've got Inter Miami is going to play against Chicago on February 26th. That's going to be here at Drive Pink Stadium, or Lockhart Stadium, as Pieter Brown and myself say. 6 p.m. What do you guys think? It's going to be a great thing. It's going to be February 26th, which is what, just over 2 months from now. That's going to be great. I mean, usually the year doesn't the season doesn't start as early. I think they've started towards the end of March, but this year they're going early. A lot has to do also with the World Cup. The World Cup's going to be in December, so they're going to try to push everything a little bit sooner so that U.S. national team can play. But as you could see, Miami goes against Chicago on the 26th, and then on March 6th, we could see that they're going to play away at Austin. I hope to make that game. This year I do plan, hopefully, to get out there and do a couple of videos away, like I started off doing when we played LAFC in Los Angeles. I did a video for that, and you guys can go check that out. It's a really cool video. I went to I think I did like 3 live videos, and you can check them out in our archives. It was a lot of fun, so I want to start doing that again. Austin is the next game against Miami on this March 6th. Then we come back and we play Miami plays LAFC. That's going to be on March 12th. And then we have an away game in Cincinnati. Then we've got a couple of games at home, and that's going to be Miami versus Houston, and then New England. Those are going to be tough games for us to win. Then there's one in Seattle, and I want to go to that one for sure. Those are going to be the ones that I think a lot of people are going to go to, because that experience has to be incredible. It says right there 10 p.m., but that's Miami time. It's going to be 7 p.m. in Seattle. Guys, the best way to go to these games is by going to going with a supporters group. If you guys can, if you have the means, I highly recommend it to get out there and go with this. It could be with Southern Legion, it could be with the Siege, it could be with Vice City. They usually have packages and stuff, hotel arrangements and all that stuff. It's easier for season ticket holders also. You can get your tickets. And usually they're cheaper. Sometimes they'll give them away. Depends. If you guys need to do that, I do recommend going with the supporters groups. Last year when we went to the LAFC game, it was a whole bunch of us. So it was a lot of fun. Those away games are the best. So guys, please go do that. As I said, I'm gonna go do the game in Austin, hopefully, and Seattle. That's got to be when I'll probably go with my wife, so she could film me, or I'll film her. I mean, she's better to look at than I am, that's for sure. So yeah, man. Thanks. There's some cool comments from you guys coming my way. Feliz Navidad. Thanks, Jazz Fusion. As I mentioned, sorry guys that I wasn't able to put the link to this video earlier. So how you doing, Chris Arjun? How you doing, my friend? One of the better people on here. One of the best photographers out there. We always see him every game. So Esteban, I see you've been putting stuff about New York FC, New York City FC. Guys, there's just so much soccer to talk about right now, and I just want to concentrate a little bit now. Since I moved on from the final, I'm gonna talk a little bit more about Inter Miami. So getting back to the schedule, there was a game. I knew a new Wiseman who's watching Spider-Man and still somehow watching us. I don't know how you're doing it, but you're not on the chat, so I don't think you're gonna be. I don't know how you're gonna do it, man. I'd rather be watching Spider-Man, but but anyways, man, we're gonna be playing Atlanta also. They're gonna be visiting April 24th. They're gonna be here in South Florida. And then we go to New England. Um, they apparently don't have a time yet for that game. Charlotte's another place I want to go. That's going to be in May. Um, that should be a lot of fun. Philadelphia. All these away games are the ones that I'm going to want to go to. And eventually, of course, we're going to go hopefully to Atlanta and all these cities. But, as I mentioned, one of the better ways to do it is probably to go with supporters groups. So if you guys have the means, do that. And dude, there's been a lot of rumors and stuff going around about player movements and stuff. Let's go with some of the rumors first before I get into the actual signings that have been made. We kind of know that Pizarro they've been looking for him to, I think, move back to Mexico. There was mention of Monterrey wanting him back. Somehow that didn't work out. But now Chivas seems to be the top team that wants to take him back. The problem with him is that he's expensive. A lot of teams won't be able to afford him. So, it's going to be interesting to see, how they get to get him to Mexico. He's expensive, and I think we need that DP spot so we can bring a player like Vega, who has been mentioned, a Brazilian, who just I believe he's with Palmeiras, and they I think became the champions of the Copa Libertadores. So he's probably pretty expensive. They were talking about $10 million, something like that, to bring him down. But we're gonna need a DP space if they want to bring that guy, and he scored in the final and of the Copa Libertadores, so he's a big deal, and he's probably the playmaker that would replace Pizarro, who we know he really isn't a playmaker. He's more of libero, I guess they call him, one of those guys that's all over the place. At least he wasn't able to play at that position as a number 10 for Inter Miami. As we know, he also doesn't seem to get along, at least from what you could see on social media with Higuain, with Gonzalo Higuain. So that's kind of a problem for the team if he continues to be with the team. The other player that I think we are all I think hoping they can arrange something for him to maybe also depart somewhere, is Blaise Matuidi, who I think this season didn't do that very much until the very last game where he was able to score against New England, kind of saying, hey, I'm still good enough. But yeah, throughout the year, I don't think he was doing that great. So I think if we can get Pizarro out and Blaise Matuidi, we could maybe bring in two DPs to occupy his spot, their spots, and hopefully we can get a better team going. But a lot of movements have happened this week, and I'm gonna get to them in a bit. I'm gonna talk Tracker. How you doing, man? Nice to see you, Ed. Just want to say that I find it such Gonzalo, is a problem. That's one of the things that I kind of was mentioning right now about how Gonzalo Higuain, he plays kind of he always pulls back and he starts playing that number 10 position, which probably was one of the reasons why Pizarro didn't feel too comfortable and he started drifting all over the place. He just wasn't the number 10 that we needed. And Gonzalo started pulling back. For a lot of people criticize Gonzalo also for being slow, and they call him fat or whatever. But the truth is, he scores. He was our top scorer. Did we play better without him when he wasn't in the field? I think, yeah, I think that's also true. But it's kind of like if you guys are Manchester United fans, the team plays one way with Ronaldo, and when he's not, then all these other players, they play better. like Bruno Gomez as an example. Um, it's just it's difficult sometimes when there's an iconic player. I guess you could say Gonzalo is, because he wants to be the main dude, and he feels that he needs to go back so they can have more possession of the ball. Well, we need somebody. That's why I was talking about Vega. It's very important for us to get an actual number 10. But we also have now a new player, and I'm going to get to him right now. We're talking about another midfielder. We're talking about Jean Mota. He's comes from Santos. He's I think he's a I think a player that he didn't get too many minutes with Santos because I think he may be not fitting in with the team. It's a possibility. I think that maybe he's still young enough where he could perhaps play better with Inter Miami. He's more of a. Sometimes I've got that problem here at the house, so hopefully you guys could still hear me and see me right now. So we're talking about Jean Mota. I think he's a pretty good signing. Vega, as I said, is I think one of the people that we would like to see joining. We're going to probably hear a lot more about the player movements come next year. But it's going to be tough. When a tracker is saying something interesting is that we're after we're limited because of the World Cup. Definitely, Henderson is. Henderson's got a lot of work to do, but he's the one that brought in Gregory. We need to be thankful to him because he brought in Gregory, and he's going the Brazilian way. This is his style. It's a different approach than what we did last year, where it was all Argentinian players, and now we're going the Brazilian way. So it should be interesting to see what other players we're going to get in the near future. We got rid of a lot of them, but we re-signed Victor Ulloa. So I think that's an interesting pick. Interesting to see that Victor Ulloa was picked up again. I thought for some reason we wouldn't get him back, but there's the coach Neville always talked about how he was good in the dressing room, and so I think that's probably one of the reasons why that's happening. So Inter Miami re-signs Victor Ulloa. Yeah. What do you guys think? Is Victor Ulloa worth it? I know Jazz Fusion is saying it's more about the depth. He's a depth piece. Yeah, he plays basically the same position as probably Mota would be playing. I would imagine Jean Mota would probably be the starter alongside Gregory. But that'll be interesting. I think it'll be as One World One Goal is saying. Mota played with Gregory on the under-23 Brazilian team. That's good stuff. That's good to know because they know each other. They'll probably play off each other. So we need that. We need those defensive midfielders that will be able to recuperate the ball. I don't know what the Neville's intentions are going to be, if he's going to play with the three in the back again, and have these two as the defensive midfielders. Interesting to see. I like what Esteban is saying here. Messi and Ronaldo come to Miami in 2023. I don't know about that one. There's been a lot of talk about all these rumors of all these great players that were supposed to come to Inter Miami just because of David Beckham being who David Beckham is, and the deep pockets that thankfully this team has. And sorry if you guys can hear something in the background, like there's this crazy bass going on. I guess there's a neighbor or something that's that's got their volume real high or something. But there's some crazy bass going on. I'm vibrating in here, in my garage studio. So hopefully that won't mess with us too much. But so yes, I think Gregory and Mota are going to do great. The sign of Victor Ulloa, I think, is important because he's a good backup for either one of them. Some people weren't too thrilled about Victor Ulloa, but again, he's a good guy in the dressing room. Seems to be a leader on the field as well. So yeah, that's something One World One Go is saying. Phil likes people you wouldn't always think. It must be a dressing room thing. He did not like Morgan, but did like Victor. Well, Morgan, I think the reason why Morgan left, Lewis Morgan left, is because they needed to make room in the salary cap because of all the problem that we have with that penalty that we got because of the Blaise Matuidi signing. So I think it's going to be somebody had to go, and unfortunately it was a fan favorite, Lewis Morgan. Hopefully we're going to try to get him on the show, so we can at least thank him for everything that he did. But I think he was wherever he goes, he's going to be a great player. But they had to get somebody to leave, and we'll look at that. Jazz Fusion saying he didn't Morgan didn't like wingback. Yeah, that's kind of true. Morgan, I think, he's still young enough where he's gonna be good anywhere, but I think with the Red Bulls, he's probably going to thrive. They've got a network of other teams, also in Europe. They got a team in Germany. They got a team in Switzerland. So there's the possibility of him going back to Europe is still out there. I think he's good enough to play in Europe for sure. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him still. So. Let's see what happens with him. There's also, I want to do a little transition. There was a possibility of Inter Miami playing in January, I think in January, with a South American team that made it pretty far into the Copa Libertadores. And last week I didn't have the name of the team, but now I know it's actually my favorite team in Ecuador, Barcelona of Ecuador. They actually approached Chris Henderson about the possibility of doing La Noche Amarilla, which is the night, the yellow night that they call, where they present their first team and all that. And they were going to pay a lot of money to get the team to show up. And I think they were going to pay even more money if David Beckham would put on the Barcelona shirt for at least one half. So, but from what I understand, the team, they reached out to him and he didn't, I don't know if they had something scheduled already, but I think he gave him the cold shoulder, which kind of sucks because I know Inter Miami needs the money, and these guys, I think, had a budget of like $200,000 or something like that, and I'm sure that if Inter Miami would have gone, they would have paid for everything, hotels, etc., etc. And and even if Beckham would have been on there, they would have paid a lot more. So a team that needs a lot of money, and for them not to go to one of these games, I think it would have helped them a lot in their budget. The money that, especially in a month where they're not going to make much money, because it's the off season. But then maybe their schedule was already full and they just couldn't fit it in. I did hear that Barcelona usually has a team, a player come in, famous players, to play just that game. They had Ronaldinho play that a game. They had so many others. I can't remember exactly all the players. I think Kaká went one year, and I can't remember off the top of my head. But this year, I think they're going to have Carlos Tevez, Argentinian player who played for Boca Juniors, and you guys probably heard him about Carlos Tevez. He's probably going to be the player that's going to be featured this year. So hopefully there'll be some way that Inter Miami could do something like that. I think it would be good for them to reach out to other countries. Also attract a lot of these people that collect jerseys and stuff like that. I think there's a big market for in South America and Latin America, Mexico, for jerseys and stuff that Inter Miami can make money off. Just trying to open up their international perspective. I would think, but otherwise, I think it would have been interesting for that to happen. But let's continue talking about Inter Miami. It doesn't look to me like Pieter Brown's going to come. It's already it's already like 37 minutes into the show, and he wasn't able to show up. So too bad for Pieter Brown. But you guys got me for a little bit longer because I'm going to keep talking about more Inter Miami news. And okay, we've got Jean Mota, we've got Victor Ulloa. Well, now we've acquired a guy. A new Wiseman is probably like angry at this, but we got Mo Adams from Atlanta United. Mo plays as a midfielder and fullback, and he's played for Atlanta United. I think he's a great player. He's still young, 25 years old. I was kind of concerned because he is actually from Europe. He's an English player, I believe, and I was afraid that maybe he would occupy a international spot for us. But fortunately, it seems like that's not the case because he is he has a visa, a USA visa. So yeah, Mo better. Mo is good. I think he's going to be a lot of help in the back. Our friend in New Wiseman could probably tell us a little bit about him. Either he's happy that he's gone, or he's not happy. He might be angry with us because we got him. So, well, I like what Tracker's saying here. He's saying, "Dang it, Ed! I'm starting to feel this club is the new Chivas USA." Well, no, man. I think we're far from that. I think Inter Miami, they're just trying to. Chris Henderson is trying to, and Phil Neville are trying to put their seal on this team. They're trying to build something. They inherited from the past administration, you could say, and I just think that Inter Miami, they're trying to do the best they can to create a great team. This year is probably going to be a year of transition. If they can make it work, awesome. We're going to support them no matter what. But it's going to be difficult for them to create a playoff and championship winning team this year because and probably for the next year or two because we've got that fine that we're going through. So. Which we kind of solved the problem by getting Lewis Morgan to go to New York Red Bull. So that's going to help us a little bit. But let me see. There's more players other than Mo. We also acquired Costa Rican international attacker Ariel Lassiter, you guys have heard that name before if you guys have been around as long as I have. Inter Miami, the Miami Fusion had a Lassiter. They had Roy Lassiter, who is his dad. And it's interesting to see that. Sorry, guys, I'm still playing around with this. Eventually I'll get better at it, guys. But yeah, Roy Lassiter is the dad of Ariel Lassiter. Roy Lassiter scored like over 100 goals in Major League Soccer. He won a couple championships. I believe that actually he won the Supporters Shield twice, and the championship I think was with DC United. He also played in that incredible team that we had talked about just a couple weeks ago with Thomas Rongen. And Thomas Rongen was the coach of the hated Tampa Bay Mutiny. So, but that's where Roy Lassiter played. So did Carlos Valderrama. And, we actually had Roy Lassiter play for us for a little bit. So that was pretty interesting. Now we're getting his son. He's also a quick guy. It seems he's plays as a winger. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings for us. And he comes from the Houston Dynamo, even though he was playing. I think he was on loan to a Costa Rican team. I believe it's Saprissa or one of those. He was playing for them. I think he was doing a great job. He does have U.S. He was U.S. citizenship, so he's another player that won't count against us. So I'm happy with all that stuff. I'm happy that that we've got some players that aren't going to count as internationals. They're gonna hopefully help this team. And I'm crossing my fingers that we're able to make this happen, guys. That this team is gonna become great and get us to at least to the playoffs next season. Crossing our fingers, hoping that will happen. I think that's going to be the end. No other transactions are going to happen for the rest of the year. But don't think I'm the last word on that. We might get something for Christmas. But if Pizarro is able to go, and if they can do a deal with Blaise Matuidi, then as you guys know, DPs don't count for the salary cap, so we might be able to get something interesting. Oh yeah, and One World One Go is just mentioning here something interesting, that we're signing kids. Lassiter's kid, Neville's kid, and she's saying eventually Beckham's kid. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We don't know if Romeo's that good, but we do know that Neville's kid is pretty good. He was probably one of the best players that they had with Fort Lauderdale CF. So it'll be interesting to see how well he does over here. We're definitely going to get a couple of players from Fort Lauderdale CF, just because we don't have space on the salary cap to get more mid I guess expensive players. But like as I was mentioning right before I saw what One World One Go said, that we do need, we would be able to get DPs that might be able to contribute. Pizarro is still not that old, so it'll be, I think, easier for us to be able to ship him out and hopefully occupy that space that we need. And like we mentioned before, Vega seemed to be the right fit for that. He might be able to be the guy that feeds the ball to Gonzalo Higuain so he could score. But there's also we're also going to need another forward, a fast forward or fast midfielder, because we do know and we've seen that Gonzalo he's not fast anymore. There's a couple times when we've seen long balls and he got burnt by speedy defenders. So a lot of these aging players from Europe, they seem to want to come over here and think it's going to be a walk in the park. Well, they don't, because the United States have some of the best athletes that are out there, at least physically. As far as speed is concerned, we're getting better. I mean, look at the U.S. national team. It's all young guys. And I saw a report where it's the youngest national team in the world right now in average age. So a lot of that has to do with Major League Soccer. I'm not saying it's 100%. We've got a lot of talent that's already playing abroad, but a lot of that talent's starting here in Major League Soccer. So I think the future that we have for this league is also important. I think that we'll be able to eventually have one of the top leagues in the world. But of course, there's a lot of things holding us back, and rightfully so, because we don't want to be like NASL, the old NASL, that they were huge. They had the best players in the world, and then they were gone in 10 years. Major League Soccer didn't go that way. They decided to baby step it, which I think was the right decision. A lot of that has to do with Don Garber, who wanted this league to last, and that's why the caps are there, and that's why the DP rules are there. I'm hoping that eventually we'll be able to get it, another DP, or maybe two more, maybe five DPs, and then we could build a team around DPs or something with young players. And that's just my opinion. That's what I'm thinking. But it'd be interesting to see what we still have in store. There's a lot of players that still need to be signed, and if you guys go to the website, I've been checking the Inter Miami website a lot, because Peter Brown and I have found out that they don't update it as they should. And one of the things that I did check out, and I'm gonna have you guys check out with me right now, is the roster. This year's roster, they did update it. They took some of these players out. Some of the players that we had, as you see, look, there it is: Kieran Gibbs, Christian Macun's there, Nicolas Figal. If we scroll down, Leandro Gonzalez Pires, who I thought was a good candidate, perhaps to leave, because he's pretty expensive, but it seems they seem to want to keep him. Blaise Matuidi, who's still, to me, one of the candidates that should be leaving soon, because I just think he should. He just wasn't good this year, man. He's occupying a very important spot that, fortunately for Pellegrini, who had to go back to Argentina. My opinion is I would have kept Pellegrini instead of Blaise Matuidi, because Blaise, I'm sorry, bud, but you just, you really, I think, should retire. Yeah, and that's just the way I see it. He just wasn't quick. The last game was the only game I saw him really give 100%, or maybe not 100%, but he played a lot better. So we got Gonzalo Higuain, Rodolfo Pizarro still there, Victor Ulloa. Ryan Shawcross is another player that I'm like, what in tarnations is Ryan Shawcross still doing on the roster? Well, apparently he still has a contract, and even though he got hurt, he's played very little. Nobody's gonna want him, guys. That's what it comes down to. Nobody wants Ryan Shawcross, and he hasn't chosen to retire because he's getting paid for just, for not playing. So, I can't blame the guy. It's his last chance probably to make some loot before he retires. So unless he remains with Inter Miami as a coach, I don't know. That's something that the other Higuain has done. He's already become a coach. So I think that's interesting. Robbie Robinson, of course, he's not going anywhere. More than anything, because he's not expensive. Robbie's shown that he could be good, but he's just hasn't been able to, I don't know, to shine as much as we'd want to. But he's still young, so yes, we're gonna keep him. Julian Carranza is another one he's an expensive kid, but they spent a lot of money on him. He's a forward. He's kind of speedy, it looks like, but he hasn't been able to demonstrate what he can do for us. So, we'll see. We'll see where it goes. Ian Frey is a defender. We haven't seen much of him. He's still in there. Felipe Valencia, midfielder. He's gonna be off the bench. Gregory, for sure. Probably continue being our captain. Drake Calder, who will remain as a backup goalkeeper. Nick Marsman, who's probably the main goalkeeper, and Edison Ascona. Of course, he's one of the younger kids that's still in there. So I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of these guys. So guys, don't forget to go to Caneswear. Caneswear is where you can get all your Inter Miami gear. So go there. It's cheap. Get your Christmas presents, all that good stuff. So All right, guys. So far, those are some of the players that we were able to see. But I did see that we have another player that apparently is going to come back, or I'm not sure if it already came out. But and let me go through my cheat phone here because I put some information about some of the players that we are probably going to get back. I just lost where I was at, but I'll find it real quick. There's a player, and I believe his name is Quinteros. For he plays for Bolivar. He's actually an Inter Miami player, and he seems to be coming back. At least reports from Bolivia are saying that Jairo Quinteros, yeah, he's a defender. He's owned by Inter Miami. He was loaned out to Marcelo Claure's Bolivar. Marcelo Claure, of course, if you guys don't know, he had already sold his part of Inter Miami. So the only owners of the team right now are the Moss brothers and David Beckham. So there's only three owners that we have right now, being the Moss brothers are basically the guys in control of the team, the majority, and then we have David Beckham, who's got a certain percentage of the team. But Jairo Quinteros is coming back. He's a defender. He seems to be very well liked by all the Bolivians. He's actually a Bolivian national. And the good thing, he's a defender. We need defenders. So he's probably going to be showing up and being part of Inter Miami as well. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's another player that we're going to have in. We still have a lot of space in the roster, guys. So I think it's, and Jazz Fusion saying, yeah, he's part of, he was loaned out for the last 2 seasons. He was loaned out, Jairo Quinteros. So, and when World One Go is saying, curse of Tubby signings that he made. Yeah, that's true. We're still dealing with some of the bad signings, I guess that were dealt during the last administration. So, but I'm looking forward to seeing what other players Inter Miami comes up with. I do have something before I leave and leave you guys. Oh, look at that. Pieter Brown just sent me a message. He's driving home now from Homestead. He could have stopped at my house and he could have, been on the show tonight. But fine, Peter. Don't worry about it. He'll have to make it up in the new year where he's going to be on restriction from going to the Mickey Mouse Club or the Disney World. But there's another message that I got, and one of the good things about being in soccer or involved with soccer is that I have a lot of people that have reached out to us throughout the years, be it Major League Soccer, soccer federations or whatever, because there's a lot of people that always thought Miami needed a Major League Soccer team, and I think Inter Miami is probably going to be the team of the Americas. Because I've had people reach out from Uruguay and Ecuador and you name it, all different places, and they send me information about possible players. Some of them I don't even pay attention to because they just seem so far out, and I'd like to mention it, but there's some of these things are laughable. Esteban Dito just said, they're going to sign Ronaldo and Messi. I wish, but this is not going to happen. But I did get some information from somebody about local information about the stadium. And the stadium seems to be something that's probably going to happen. Or at least they're asking for the money to build it. And this is what I've gotten. I got a message from somebody that told me that he works for a bank, for City National Bank in Florida. Apparently there's an application that was placed by the Moss brothers, City National Bank, upwards of $150 million. So they're looking to get that. And it looks like that's to build a stadium starting in 2022, and with eyes of opening the stadium in 2024. So if this actually materializes, they're already looking for the money to build, and that's $150 million to start probably the construction, because we know it's probably going to be more expensive than that. The whole project, but that's probably just for the stadium. That's a lot of money, and if it's true, then we're looking at the start of construction. It says in late 2022, with the opening mid 2024. So that's pretty exciting. That those things are happening behind doors. I've heard from different sources that they're looking to get it on the city agenda, the approval of the construction of the stadium, hopefully in the beginning of the year. So we're crossing our fingers, make that happen. It's going to be a lot better for me, because driving up to Fort Lauderdale was killing me, but I do it because I love this team, and I've done it. I did it, when the Miami Fusion was here. So all the people in Broward, please take the train down once the team moves back over here, if it ever does, because what I'm talking about right now is just they put in an application for the money, but for a loan, but it's still not a sure thing. So we're gonna see where this goes. Hopefully we get that stadium finally made at Melreese, which reminds me that in the past few days, the people at Melreese they signed a 3-year contract for a lease on that area. But one of the things that was mentioned in that lease apparently was that if the stadium construction begins, then sorry guys, you need to go. So they're aware of it. They just want to. They're probably crossing their fingers, hoping it never gets constructed, while all the soccer fans are wanting it for it to actually get constructed. And I know there's a lot of golf players out there, but nobody could really enjoy the golf course except people that pay to play golf. And with the soccer team there, we're gonna have a park that anybody could go to. We're gonna have a stadium. There's going to be soccer fields. There's going to be plenty of parking. There's going to be a business center. I think it's going to be great for I know some people that live around that area, and they're excited because they're thinking there's going to be jobs. There's going to be people are going to be talking about like, oh, there's so much traffic or whatever. But guys, think about it. How many games do we have in Major League Soccer? There are not many. So it was that 17, 18 games, something like that. Even if it's 20, it's 20 games in a year, 20 days in a year where there might be traffic. So it's not a big deal. We're used to it. It's Miami. And let's just, get our stadium going. Let's, make it happen. And, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next coming year, with Inter Miami. We talked about some of these new signings. There's going to be more signings, guys. So I'm ready for this to happen, and I hope you are too. Thank you for dealing with our ugly mugs. For this past year, it's been difficult with all the restrictions that we've had because of the virus and all that. But here we are. We continue to support our Inter Miami. We may have not made the playoffs this year, but we're hoping that next year we do make it, and hopefully we get a championship team. Once again, thanks for putting up with our ugly mugs. We thank everybody that listens to us, that puts up with Pieter Brown's attitude and mine. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and share this Football Miami TV with everybody that you guys can. We expect to have some great guests, some more people in the next year to come, and we'll talk more soccer. And hopefully I'm going to get out there at the away games and film live, so you guys feel at least a little bit of what the excitement is in Major League Soccer that is Inter Miami. And so Thanks again, guys. We love you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully Peter Brown will join me. And stop, going to see Mickey Mouse and all that stuff. But thanks, guys. Appreciate everything that you do. And I will see you next year. Vamos, Inter!